really loves the thing is less inclined to sit down and spend time going, this is really awesome. And I just wanted to say, thank you for making a thing that I love. Thanks for being awesome. Because people tend to reflect to the world the way they feel about themselves. And they tend to see reflected in their entertainment and people that they either not necessarily admire, but are in a place to look up to. That they see in them, they see the things they like about themselves, and they see the places where they feel they're falling short. As a general, like just psychological rule, when someone's an asshole on the internet like that, it's because they're sad, they're frustrated, they're lonely, they're unhappy. And when I see something like that, when it's directed at me, my general reaction is to say, I really hope you feel better now. And I sometimes do that, or sometimes if someone's really stupid, I love it when someone yells at me about grammar but uses the incorrect form of for. Right? Yeah. Or when somebody is a giant ass to one of my friends, then I sort of come in and set them on fire. Literally. But I'm working on it. See, if you weren't in the box. But really, I mean, honestly, what you have to just think about, like, a lot of those comments come from 14, 15-year-old boys or adults who have never matured past that way, and they're at a point in their life where the world is weird and scary, and they're frustrated, and they're awkward, and they don't fit in a place, and they're just angry. And they don't even know why they're angry. So they see a person doing something awesome, and they're like, why can't I be awesome? Fuck you for being awesome! And that's what they do. And honestly, the best thing to do is download the comment, don't reply to it. If you're a moderator, delete it, and then go on with your life. It's just too easy to get hung up in that sarlacc pit of hate.
I try to avoid it. There have been a couple videos I've seen. I do. I got really depressed a couple weeks ago because of a certain video that people started calling me not a gamer, and I don't care. You can call me a dog. You can say you won't have sex with me. That's fine. You're probably woke. Gamer, you're fake, like that's what I get pissed off, because then you don't know jack shit about me, dude. I inevitably, when I get the ugliest comments, I click on their profile and I'm like, oh, this guy doesn't make anything. So like, it's a dude who doesn't make anything, and they don't know what it's like to be vulnerable and create. But at the end of the day, if you don't create, and if you're not vulnerable, then you're just a drone, in a sense. You're not really sharing what's special about yourself. Because I always like to say, if I told everybody to write a paragraph about a cat, every single paragraph would be different. And that's what's beautiful about us. We're all different. And the fact we have the opportunity to share that is going to make us vulnerable and invite people to hate on us. But at the end of the day, we shared something. And if you think about anybody you've ever admired in history, and think about them getting YouTube comments like that. Thank God they didn't stop. They just don't stop. That's all I got to say.
A couple of tricks that I have used, because I agree with everything that both these guys said about folks, but sometimes you just get sucked in and you can't help, and what are you going to do if you want to fight that hate that you're feeling? And first, read it without all the charged words. Just edit it. Take out all of the you failed to mention and your idiotic reply and see what they're really saying. There might be something valuable and respond to that. And say, oh, that's a really good point. And what's amazing is when you really respond, all of a sudden you become a real human being. And they respond, oh, I'm sorry, my first response was kind of jerky, but you totally turn the tables. If you take all that stuff out and there's nothing left, then there's nothing left. And if you just can't stop, one trick I gave Veronica a long time ago is write your response and then delete it, and then just get it out of your head, but don't send it. Just ignore it. They'll go away.
I send it too often. I hit a wall a while back where suddenly I entered the, can I swear? Yeah.
You don't say the word. You say, tell me what word you want to say.
I entered the
Bob.
my life things back out into the world, being like, okay, well, you know, blah, blah, blah. And it felt really good for like a little while, and then it just wasn't working. And then I started taking the constructive route, which was what Tom said, where you go like, okay, well, I understand that this show is not for everyone, and, you know, is there any way that we can fix it and try to make it, you know, or like, what would you do differently? What would you like to see change? And that has actually been the best thing so far, because not only do other commenters jump in and say, hey, that was kind of harsh, like, you know, you should listen to them, or you should, you know, try something different. And I don't know, I'm babbling now, but it actually does get really, it does get, there is constructive stuff that can come from those kinds of comments, not always.
Yeah, but I mean, feedback is love, and this channel is good stuff, you know, because we are a YouTube channel, and we have said we do want, you know, to make sure that you guys are getting things out of the channel. Yeah, you don't need to put you gotta put sugar up a butthole all the time. It's like, she doesn't drink.
I take it back, I don't want any cupcakes you've made.
Something like that's actually legitimate, like, hey, you know, this wasn't as good, or I didn't like this game, or the way that you shot this was weird. Like, I mean, you know, there's nothing I can do about fixing it, but I can actually take that later and make a better video. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. You don't need to hear like compliments all the time, but it's just the attitude. That's what gets you down. So I think that's a really good advice. Take the attitude out of it, and you might learn something from it.
My favorite thing is when the community jumps in and helps. Like, I think that always makes me feel the best when I don't even have to say anything because someone jumps in and either defends us or like shuts the other person down. I'm not saying get into like YouTube comment fights, but it is nice.
Well, you just kind of have to imagine if that person was standing in front of you, would you spend longer than 30 seconds engaging in whatever they're doing? You probably wouldn't. You'd just be like, okay, I don't know. Stab them.